Hey everybody, Miguel Maravilla from FightNews.com and SouthernCaliforniaBoxing.com. It is Thursday, June 11th, 2020, and it's also Fight Day. Yes, it's Fight Day going down later on tonight on ESPN. And we also have a recap to talk about. We have a recap to talk about Shakur Stevenson stoppage over Felix Caraballo. And of course, to talk about the undercard. We also have a preview of tonight's fights. There's also some stuff going on, some buzz to talk about, some news and notes. So, with that, let's go on to our recap. Let's recap this weekend, uh, this past Tuesdays, not this weekend, only because we're so accustomed to this past weekend's fights. But anyways, so Shakur Stevenson, as expected, he went in there to showcase his skills, to make his statement. He went in there and did what he had to do. Uh, good, good performance. He showed overall. Showed his abilities, his skill. He actually was, you know, good in going to the body. You know, obviously his defensive skills. You know, showed a lot of that, but we saw a much more aggressive Shakur Stevenson. And of course, he was moving up to 130. Uh, Obviously, he showed that he packs the punch, he packs the power. Caraballo, he's you know not taking anything away from him, not taking anything away from Shakur, but like we mentioned, and it was expected. Shakur Stevenson did what he had to do in in scoring that impressive stoppage. Uh, as you know, Shakur Stevenson is the featherweight WBO featherweight champion, so he might more likely going back down to 126. There is some fights too at 130, but for the time being, we will more likely see Shakur going back to 126. Uh, there was buzz that Shakur Stevenson had hurt his hand in that fight, that he messed up his left hand, but came back negative. He didn't sustain any injuries during the fight, so much credit to him. We look forward to seeing him as he returns. And then we had the co-feature. We had the big baby. Yes, the real big baby, Jared Anderson. I really liked what I saw in his, in his patience, the way he was boxing. He looked very well schooled, boxing behind that jab, just pumping it, very stiff jab, and again, the patience is what really impressed me. He didn't go out there to rush to show that he could knock this guy out. No, he let the knockout come. He was setting it up with the jab, unloading with some big punches, and good for him. He was able to stop his opponent Johnny Langston in three. So Big Baby improves to the real Big Baby. I'm sorry, improves to 4-0 with four knockouts. Anderson out of Ohio, showed showed a lot of promise, and obviously with the right team in Top Rank, he's on the right path. He'll definitely be on more of these ESPN cards. They'll definitely be showcasing him. So we look forward to watching, seeing him down the line. And of course, Anderson was Tyson Fury's main sparring partner leading up to Fury's rematch with Wilder. So obviously, Fury benefited from that, as well as Anderson. So more to come from Anderson, and you know, hopefully he comes back soon. Why not? Why not next week? Then we had the Italian heavyweight, the 2016 Olympian, Italian Olympian. He scored a quick first round knockout over Don Hainsworth. Hainsworth obviously outweighed him by, I believe it was 40 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a crushing overhand right that that did it. That was pretty much it for Hainsworth, and Vianello, of course, improves to 7-0 with 7 knockouts. So maybe that's a possible collision course that we might see between the real big baby Jared Anderson and Guido Vianello. So that's a possible showdown down the line. We shall see. Then, of course, we had the middleweights. Quintavious Cash, he won a 6-round unanimous decision over Calvin Metcalf. Cash improved to 12-2 with 7 knockouts. Won that technical decision off a cut. Cash was doing what he had to do. He was boxing well. He cut Metcalf early in the fight as Metcalf sustained a cut on his left eye. So unfortunately for Metcalf, Cash was able to take advantage, targeted at times some of that cut, pumping the jab, boxing, circling, which made it impossible for Metcalf. But credit to Metcalf, that guy kept coming. He wanted to continue to fight, but scores. They went to the scorecards after the cut, after the fight was stopped. So Cash walked out with the victory. Scores 60 to 54, 60 to 55, and 59 to 55. So that was, and then we started the action, the telecast with two-time Olympic gold medalist Royce Ramirez making quick work of Yeuri Andujar in scoring the first round knockout 54 seconds into the fight. Ramirez, as he lost his pro debut. He went, you know, he went his whole amateur career, and finally on his debut, he suffered his first defeat. But he's bounced back since. He's 3-1 with 3 knockouts, and of course, Top Rank will be showcasing him more. And hey, he's a prospect. He lost his first fight. You know, it's not the end of his career just because he suffered his first defeat. There's been some fighters that they uh, they suffered their first defeat and they've gone on to have a great career. Some of the names, Bernard Hopkins and Juan Manuel Marquez. Obviously, those are future Hall of Famers. So we shall see what transpires with Robesi Ramirez. But he does have the tools. He does have the talent. So let's see what he has to offer in the years to come. Then of course, we have the weights from Las Vegas. Yes, tonight. I mean, actually, for tomorrow's card, we have the weights from Vegas at the scale. Uh, you had Jesse Magdaleno coming in at 127.9 pounds as he takes on Yenefiel Vicente. Came in at 126.5. That's going to be a 128-pound featherweight catch weight. Scheduled for 10. And of course, we have that as the main event. What do I expect from Jesse? I expect Jesse to go out there and showcase himself, you know do what he does best. Jesse being Jesse, I expect him to go out there aggressive, but at the same time, using his technique, not getting sloppy. I can you know I can picture a mid round stoppage. I see him being very technical in this fight, working, getting that work in. Uh, I don't see an early knockout, and if I do, hey, much props to him. But Magdaleno is definitely on his way back to regaining a world title. He wants that title shot bad. Ever since losing to Isaac Dogbe, he's been on a course to regain that world title and obviously becoming a world champion. More notes regarding that. Jesse Magdaleno, he'll have I have a spectator keeping a close eye. Yes, Desert Storm, Nambian Boxer, Desert Storm, Sakaria Lucas will be, he'll be in Vegas. Not sure if he'll be ringside or not, but all I know is that he'll be in Vegas. He is a WBC ranked number one, and he's been looking for that fight with Jessie Magdaleno. They were scheduled to fight. Yes, they were scheduled to fight on in March. Yeah. However, because of the COVID pandemic and all that, Sakaria from Nambia, it's been difficult for him to to get that fight. But he's expected to be in Vegas for to see Magdaleno and perhaps call him out. So, good for him. But on to the card, we also have in the co-feature. We have, by the way, there was two fights scratched from this card. We'll get more to that in a bit. But we also have lightweights Erik Mondragon and Mike Sanchez, both out of the Inland Empire, both out of Southern California. These guys both undefeated, so they're looking to what can I say? They're looking to make the most out of it in tonight's card. They it's scheduled for 4 rounds, lightweight bout. So this should be a pretty competitive scrap. I can expect a lot of action in this fight for as long as it goes 4 rounds. I expect these guys to give it their all. So look out, stay tuned for that one. Then you have another Inland Empire talent in Gabriel Murataya. He'll be taking on Fernando Robles. I expect Murataya to go in there and show what he's about, and possibly score a stoppage. And of course, we have the co-feature. We have the co-feature, a scheduled 10-rounder for the vacant NABF featherweight title. We have Adam Lopez and Luis Correa. They'll be, they'll be, they'll be going at it for 10 rounds, scheduled 10 rounds. So we shall see what that's about. That is a very, very competitive fight. I think, in fact, that'll be the best fight of the night. You have Lopez, who's coming off a pretty solid fight. He didn't get the victory, but he was able to give Oscar Valdez a run for his money. Yes, he basically he came out the winner in that fight. He came out winning on both ends because he took the fight on, what was it, a day's notice or something like that. Then he goes out there and even drops Oscar Valdez, but for Valdez, he was able to stop him, and like I mentioned, the winner in that fight was Lopez. He looking looking back at that fight, many of us thought, well, Oscar's obviously going to go out there and wipe him out, and it wasn't the way. That's not what transpired in this fight. So Lopez tomorrow will be taking on you know Louis Correa. So that's going to be a solid fight. And looking back at last night's card, there was it was quite interesting. Not hearing the crowd, not not hearing the overreaction to a combination, to a punch that hits a glove and you see the sweat. You know, there was it was just different, and even Shakur Stevenson said it was quite a different experience. Uh, just imagine fighting out there. You have the production team, the the fighters team. Then you have who else? The commission, the judges, the referees sitting at ringside. So again, some fighters they thrive off the crowd. Some fighters are just there to do their task, there to do their job. So other than that, that was it was good to see boxing back again on ESPN, live boxing on ESPN. What we saw last night, I feel that that's going to be the norm as to what happens in the weeks and months to come. We, right now we're living in a time where we're taking extreme precautions, and as you saw, there was a lot of safety protocols. So uh, look forward to that in the next coming month as again Top Rank has more programming coming up in the month of June. More of that programming includes next week's card. We have, let's see, I believe it was Greer. Yes, we have Greer in action next week. That'll be, let me get some of that. Oh, I should get that up. Let's see. So last night's card, yes, definitely very impressed by the real Big Baby Anderson. If I had to take a pick between everyone who fought in that card, and if they asked me, hey, who do you see? Who would you pick out of the bunch? Definitely a real Big Baby. Showed why he was a solid sparring partner for Tyson Fury. And I look forward to seeing him fight more. Let's see, where is all this info on Greer? So here we go. So next week we have, as mentioned, Top Rank announced Joshua Gerd Jr. He'll be taking on Mike Plania, same location at the MGM Grand Conference Center. This will be scheduled for, I believe, 10 rounds. Yes, 10 round showdown. Also, you have Jose Sniper Pedraza. He'll be taking on Michael Lepierre in a 10 round super lightweight bout. Then the following week, we have in the Teva Azteca Studios in Mexico City, we have Emmanuel Navarrete. He'll be taking on Uriel El Yuca Lopez. That taking place at the TV Azteca Studios in Mexico City. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And then the co-feature for Joshua Greer and Mike Lania that takes place next week. That'll be former world champion Antonio DeMarco taking on undefeated Giovanni Santillan, 25-0 with 15 knockouts. So that's a big step up for the San Diego fighter Santillan. That's going to be a pretty good competitive fight to look forward to. And of course, the undercards, you're going to have Nicolas Sexniavili, 5-0 with 4 knockouts, taking on Isaiah Jones. Then we have super featherweight prospect Edward Vasquez of Fort Worth, Texas, out of the DFW, 7-0-1. He'll be taking on an opponent to be determined in a 6th-rounder. And then we have Puerto Rican heavyweight Hector Perez, 6-2 with 3 knockouts. He'll be taking on Texan Juan Torres. And as I mentioned, on the 18th, we have Jose Pedraza taking on Miguel Lepierre. Then the co-feature will be Gabriel Flores taking on Jose Ruiz. Flores 17-0 with 6 knockouts, has a lot of promise to him out of Stockton, California. Then we also have David Kaminsky 6-0. He'll be taking on Clay Collard. Then also Puerto Rican super featherweight Frevian Gonzalez 2-0 with 1 knockout. He'll be taking on Victor Rodriguez. Actually, Victor Rodriguez will be taking on Justin Horsley. And then June 20th at TV Azteca Studios, as I mentioned, 122-pound WBO champ Emmanuel Navarrete takes on Uriel Lopez in a featherweight bout, scheduled for 10. And then those undercards will feature Carlos Ornelas, 25-2, takes on Edwin Palomares. And then we also have featherweight prospect Sergio Sanchez, 14-1, taking on Gustavo Pina. We have former interim world champion Silvia Torres taking on Edith De Jesus. So the ladies will be squaring off in a light flyweight showdown. And also Mexican-based flyweight prospect Ivan Garcia, 5-0 with 3 knockouts. He'll be taking on Roberto Palomares. So that's the top-ranked Zanfer schedule coming up. So then we go on to the news. There was lots of talk yesterday about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua reaching a deal for 2021 that will be scheduled to take place in the summer. Yeah, summer of 2021. So that's over a year from now. So does this mean they're going to fight? Hey, it's in place, but anything could happen from here till till next summer. You have Anthony Joshua. He's he's sustained an injury, I believe, and in his knee, and then he's out. He's out and about protesting, which is, hey, much power to him. I'm for the movement, not against it. However, if you're injured, you don't want to be. If you have a knee injury, you don't want to be at a protest. And I understand you're the heavyweight champion, but a riot, a melee, anything can happen, and you've seen what's happening out there, and I don't think it was a good idea for him to go out there, especially with with a knee injury. What would have happened if all of a sudden there is a stampede of people just rushing, and then down goes Joshua? Uh, that's him being sidelined another year, perhaps. I'm no doctor and all, but hey, if you want to go in there with a fighting chance, if you want to go in there 100%, I mean let's be realistic. So then there's the talk about the Pulev fight. That's one matchup I'm not. Mm, I don't. I don't know. I'm not. I don't feel too good about that matchup for Joshua. Uh, Joshua's already shown he can be beat. Pulev, on the other hand, is not as skilled as Joshua. However, the guy is as tough as they come. He has been in the ring with with some of the best. So we shall see what happens in a from here till who knows when. And of course, you have Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he's just waiting to defend his title. We shall see when he returns, but I'm sure when he returns, it'll be something to watch as it always is. Tyson Fury always entertaining, always there's always something about him. So we look forward to his return. and we look forward to the heavyweight division brewing up as it has been for the last for the last few years. So that's what we have regarding the heavyweight division and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. We also have there's some buzz about Horn and Tim Tszyu, Jeff Horn and Tim Tszyu squaring off on ESPN. Yes, Australian-based fighters. Jeff Horn, former WBO champion, and then you have Tim Tszyu, that's son of legendary Australian slash Russian great Costa Tszyu. Tim Tszyu sporting a 15-0 record with 11 knockouts. That'll be one fight that can gain him more popularity here in the States. As Horn, defeated Pacquiao. That's how he became world champions. If that's what we want to say, he defeated him. But hey, on the technical side, he got the win. My opinion, he didn't. But hey, that's just my opinion. And then you have Tim Tszyu. Also, Jeff Horn. He was defeated by Terrence Crawford. He has some experience to his name, some credibility to his name, as Tszyu, the son of a former world champion, is looking to make a name for himself, looking to get out of the shadow of his father. That's a pretty interesting matchup. So all in all, we got boxing tonight, so that should be fun. Log in, tune in. If you're at work, go ahead. Log in on your computer. That way you look like you're doing something at work. That way it looks like you're busy, but at the same time you're watching the fights. If you're at home, go for it. Tune in, check them out, and that's tonight. So with that said, folks, that does it here. So follow me on Twitter at Maravilla for the latest boxing news, information, you name it. Log on to fightnews.com and SouthernCaliforniaBoxing.com. Also, follow us on our YouTube channel, Southern California Boxing. So, until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.